All right, I got the two guys in the hats over here. This is unbelievable. All right. I don't know if you know the guy on the bottom over here, Jason Demchok. He has actually been a guest on my show numerous times. He's kind of working his way into being a co-host. Today is a cowboy hat. He basically teaches people how to become a whole food chef. He's a Buddhist teacher, amongst many other things. And the other guy with the other hat, I guess it's over here now, we got Tristan Stahl. He's the founder of Valormen. His slogan, which we're going to get into like more specific, awakening the hero within, right?
Awakening the hero within. That's correct, sir.
Right. So we're going to start kicking this in the ass a little here. We're going to start with Jason, because the truth is a lot of podcasts that I've done with Jason has done very well. And he was, I think, my 900th episode, our first one. This is my 950th. So you're on that one as well. And I think a lot of people, like, as far as my audience, they get to check a lot of things out that I'm doing. But I think people underestimate how the impact that Jason has on other people's lives and the influence he has on a lot of people, even on social media.
I agree.
But we need to get an update on him, because we haven't done a podcast in a few months, I think, right?
Yeah.
A lot has changed with you even since then. So let's get into this. What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Well, I started a program to train people to be whole food chefs. And I've been just really, like you said, I got so many things I do, but that's a good thing. But it's also kind of the downside of that is it's hard to stay focused.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've learned to just force myself to stay focused on this. And it's been really successful so far. And I've been doing a lot of personal growth with Tristan over here. He's been helping me a lot with stuff.
Nice.
Being more assertive, which he'll tell you more about his program. And just been enjoying myself here in Orlando. I'm getting ready to go back up to Asheville in a month.
Finally,
in the mountains.
Finally going to do some traveling.
Yeah, seriously.
My gosh, man. Going crazy here in Florida, I bet.
No, it's been good, but now the weather is like, this is the time of year I like to get out. But it's been pretty nice this week, but around the corner, like June, it's just like you go outside, you're going to be dripping in sweat.
I don't know what it is, man, but it just feels like it's the Sahara Desert out here this summer. And normally I love the heat, but man, it is just next level this year. It's crazy.
Yeah,
you guys got to come out, visit me in the mountains.
Oh, I'd love that. Absolutely.
I've only been there once, Asheville. It's beautiful over there. It's nice.
Yeah.
All right, but so let's jump on here so people know who the hell you are. Tristan, give us a heads up on this whole thing, what you got going on.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So really the ethos or the philosophy of Valormen is to align men with the core of who they really are, how to get people aligned with their authentic power. And what we see a lot, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this, I definitely could a couple years ago, is we tend to do things for everybody else. We tend to do things for family. We tend to do things for society, for our partners, for even a boss, but we never really tap into who we truly are.
Right.
And that's what we teach. That's really the foundation that we're trying to teach here. So really what makes Valormen different is, I'd say really 90% of the personal development industry is all about, doing more, having better habits and working harder. And believe me, I'm not against any of those things at all. Those are definitely some of my values. But if we try and put that as the foundation, then you're only as good as how you're doing. You start to identify in your performance, identify in your results. And that's what a lot of young men suffer with. And that can cause, lack of life alignment to who you really are, depression, anxiety, and really all these things that just suppress your authenticity and suppress your impact and really how much money you can make. That's the paradox of it. Sure. So we're trying to get men aligned with that. That's the 30,000 foot view of what we do.
Right. Well, kind of give people too how they become a part of this, like, and how you're. Yeah, I know you have Valormen pioneers, and
Yeah.
you have all these different things going on. How do people learn about this?
Yeah, for sure. So we got a couple things going on right now. First thing, you can check out the Valorman Podcast. So there's about 20 episodes on there right now. First business life cycle. Super excited to jump in full time to the business now. We've been growing the business for just under a year as I was working full time. So, going to be allocating a lot more time to the business. And really, this is a lot more aligned to my passions and the impact that I want to create. Right. So, if you're the CEO preaching that mission, you got to make sure you're living it as well. But there's a podcast that we can definitely get you guys some links to. And then another thing that we do is a lot of TikTok content, short personal development clips, really challenging the core beliefs of, guys' belief systems. We talk about discipline. We talk about confidence. We talk about relationship dynamics. So a lot of different things that you guys can learn about Valormen from there as well.
Nice. So I used to work with Jason, and then Jason in turn connected with Kristen. Three different total dynamics when it comes to everything we kind of do, right? To a certain degree. I guess Tristan and me have some things we work with people regarding confidence.
Yeah.
Jason, who found you? Did Jason find you, or did you find Jason?
You want to tell the story, Jason?
Yeah. So, it was a kind of a crazy turn of events, like a cycle of events where my friend Sean and I was actually walking home. I saw my friend Sean walking the opposite way with his daughter. So I started walking with him. Then we bumped into Dominique and another guy named Tristan. And we were kind of just talking. And normally I never see Dominique, but this night I happened to see her.
Right.
So I know her from Sean. And then she was like, "Oh, come over tomorrow." I was like, "All right." I had no idea Tristan was going to be there. And I just figured I'd go and hang out for a little bit. I get there and I see this guy, Tristan, like talking. And I'm like,
spelled it exactly the same too, which is crazy. Like that's a rarity. It's Tristan. Yeah.
That's crazy.
How's it normally spelled?
Very, very rare. Very rare.
IN? Is it normally spelled with an IN at the end?
It's normally IN or EN. Yeah, the ANs, there's not a lot of ANs out there. Not a lot of ANs. Yeah, we'll talk about where that name came from here in a second too. That'll be cool. That'll be cool to
talk about. So like I heard him talking and I'm like, this guy sounds interesting, but it's probably full of shit, and and then like next thing, I don't know, at some point I chimed in to the conversation facing the other direction, and I just see him like slowly turn his head like to look at me.
Yeah.
And then from that moment on, we just started talking, and like an hour went by, and like everyone else in the party is just like talking. Him and I were just talking the whole time. And then I'm like, he's still probably full of shit. No, I'm kidding. But I left and I was like, I think we connected on LinkedIn. And then when we finally had a conversation, it was like, he was able to address a lot of the things that, like when you say confidence, there's, different types of confidence.
Yeah.
With Tristan, he instantly identified I was being helpful, but not assertive. Tristan's father is like a big shot, like Tony Robbins kind of guy. So he kind of grew up with that. He was like raised for this, but then he has his own personal growth, individual growth he went on. And so I just started listening. He recommended this book, Difficult Conversations. And just every time I talk to him, it's just another nugget of knowledge that like instantly applies and it's put into practice and it works.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you saying that, man. I'm happy you're, seeing the direct impact. And what's so crazy about this too is Dominique is somebody that we met at a corporate club. My dad actually built the relationship with her first. It was the Citrus Club, Rich. So that's where they met. And, then I met her from some of the parties. They had a family membership. So I met her there, which was cool. And we like hit it off. And I never really had one-on-one time with her and hadn't really talked with her for, gosh, I think like in 6 months. And she just reached out to me and said, hey, come to a dinner. Like, we have to see each other. And really and truly, I didn't really want to go because it was like an hour and 10 minutes. And I was like, oh man, an hour and 10 minutes there, hour and 10 minutes back. That's kind of steep. But I went and I was like, just kind of just trusting the intuition in the gut there. That's something we teach as well, how to trust your intuition. That opens up a whole nother can of worms there.
Right.
But I went and I was like, I don't know, just kind of have a good feeling about this. And that's where I met Jason and we just hit it off. And I think we were talking about oh God, what were we talking about? We're talking about you're traveling, how you've lived in 15 different countries.
Yep.
Which was crazy. And how I wanted to do some traveling. And I was like, oh my God, I need to have you in my life, man. I got to learn how you're doing this, And that's kind of how it went from there. But it was pretty cool.
What do you think of Jason? Be honest, when you first met him, did you think he was just eccentric because he's pitching the foods and the being a chef and all those things?
It's so funny because I had a very strong religious background growing up, and I'm just starting to actually come out of that. And so I'm excited to learn other things. So when I met him and he was talking about how he lived with monks and just all this crazy shit, I was like, I got to connect with this guy. I was just super curious about it. I actually was like, wow, this guy seems, like he's got loads of wisdom. Right. So I was actually happy about it. And then, I don't know what happened from there, Jason, but I guess we just did a call or something, or I don't know.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Isn't it crazy how we meet people? None of us know each other. None of us knew what our life would be without one another. Am I saying that correct? And now we do things together. We meet there for coffee. I mean, I've been dealing with Jason for a while now. I meet you. It's crazy how life is. I always think about too. Well, my father was a musician, right? I was around a lot of musicians. And I'm always thinking what's the next song? It hasn't even been created, right? What artist is going to create the next film? What's all these things? What are the relationships that I'm going to create that I don't even know? Am I going to have nieces and nephews or great nieces and nephews? Am I going to be a grandfather? But even with friendships, it's so crazy. I would have never thought I would connect with someone like Jason. And you are probably on par with me a little bit. You know what I mean? We could have probably ran into each other, but the Jason thing is he's kind of a link. I think people underestimate he's a connector, as you know.
Yes, absolutely.
He connects really. I was a connector for a long time too, but it was more kind of hey, this person does this like you, or you can do that. And I kind of would not shuffle them off, but I kept my relationship with them. And then I would let them build a relationship. Jason has a way of connecting us all together. He's kind of a little bit of the glue, I think, a little bit. What do you think with that?
Oh yeah, 100%. And there's actually something called the Harrison assessment that we did. So those of you who don't know what that is, the Harrison assessment it's not just a personality test. It's much more than a personality test. It actually scores you on 175 different psychological and behavioral traits. Okay. Right. And when we did that with Jason, his number one was outgoing. That's the number one in his psychological ecosystem is connecting with other people.
And you wouldn't think that about him. Am I wrong?
I wouldn't think that about me. But it makes sense.
It makes sense. Yeah. You wouldn't have thought yourself like that. I'm sorry. I would think he's like that, and you probably do, but he never looked at himself like that.
Right. And the thing about the Harrison is it scores your preferences. You would prefer to be outgoing. Like that's what you want your life to be. You want to collaborate with others. You want to bring other people in. You want to be inclusive. It's more so, and I try and explain this to people. For example, if somebody has one of the other traits is diplomacy, right? Which is the ability to be diplomatic in your speech when you're communicating. If you have a low wants diplomacy score, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not a diplomatic person. It just means when somebody communicates to you, you would prefer them to be more frank and forthright and to the point. And so that's what's interesting about the Harrison and why you kind of have to have a coach when you do it. But yeah, it's It's interesting stuff. And then, yeah, in terms of connection, man, like, Jason just connected me with a guy named Eli, who is this just crazy, awesome, fitness guru. He's got a
posture guru.
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
right?
That's it. Yeah, that's a better way to put it, because
he's a great guy. He's very he's amazing at what he does. I mean, he's an interesting dude.
Oh, dude, unbelievable. Yeah, I just had a call with him the other day, and Jason introduced me to him.
Yeah.
And see, because I'm a personal trainer as well. Like, I'm a certified personal trainer. I've been bodybuilding for 10 years. But I mean, when I was talking to him, the stuff that he knows is just, I'm like, and he's my age. He's 26. It just blew me away.
I know, you guys are so young. It's crazy.
I was like, wow, man, you are next level.
He's a fun guy to talk to. Not only that, I mean, he has over 300,000 followers on TikTok. Like, he's no joke.
He's got over 400K now.
Oh, see, that I haven't looked in a while at his page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's over 400K, man. Just a great guy. And I think, right, Jason, he's going to be doing like some conferences out at Sedona or something like that. Or yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that about like connecting people. Yeah, I do love that. I just wanted to share this funny story though, because Rich and I, like, for a while, like I can see like the awesomeness in people, and I'm like, oh, I wish everyone would see it. And sometimes it doesn't work that way. Like, I introduce two people and they miss the mark. So that was something I had to learn, that like I had to slow this down. And Rich and I had a lot of talks about this. And I came to the point where I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'm just not gonna introduce you to anybody. I'm gonna just focus on my own thing for a while and just kind of slow it down. And then right after that, I talked to Tristan. Like, I had a real outside of that party. And the whole time I just keep seeing in my head, like, Rich, I got to introduce him to Rich. Like, it was just so clear. I got off that call and I immediately left a message for Rich. I'm like, Rich, I know I said I wasn't going to introduce you to people, but you have to meet this guy, Tristan. Like, this is the guy. I'm telling you right now. And he's like, all right. And then here we are.
Yeah. That's awesome. You say that too, man. And like, I mean, me and Rich, shit, what we spent like a couple hours the other day, and it just flew by, just like that first conversation that we had, Jason, at a Foxtail. We were talking about Valormen and, just like our past lives and some of the stuff we were doing, like with business and all that, just like shooting the shit. And 3 hours went by. I was like, oh my God.
I know. I forgot my phone, so I had no idea. To be honest with you, I left my phone at the house and I went to go meet him for coffee this Sunday, I think, or last Sunday, was it? And then I said, you know what? I'm not going back to get my phone. I could care less. I just focus in on what he's saying, and this will be a nice break. We sat down. I never looked at my phone. So, and then we went and had lunch too. And I go, how long is it? I go, we got to get out of it. What's it been, like an hour and a half? He goes, Rich, it's like, we met at 11. It was 2 o'clock. I'm sorry. I was like,
2 o'clock,
3 hours?
It was 3 hours.
What the hell's going on here? We were bumping the gums.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I mean, you brought up some interesting points too about like future visions for Valormen and what we're trying to build here too. And maybe this is actually something we can touch on is, so the Valormen, you mentioned there's Valor pioneers. Okay. So when somebody gets into the main course is called the Alignment Blueprint course. Okay. So it's a 30-day intensive. We teach you how to align with your authentic self. We teach you how to stay in alignment when difficult circumstances come about, how to have what I call courage conversations when people cross your boundaries. So how to have those conversations. And you're not going to learn this stuff in a university. And what's so crazy about it is, I mean, there's guys that are 50, 60 years old. One of the guys that I'm coaching right now is 67, and he still struggles with this because he never learned it.
Sure.
That's just it. Yeah. And so then we go into belief sets of world-changing men. So we look at the belief sets of Martin Luther King Jr., Gandhi, Jesus, Buddha, all these super revolutionary people, right?
Yeah.
Take a look at that. Then we simplify that in week 3 so you can actually apply this stuff in your life. And then week 4, the last week, is teaching you how to become a leader that people never forget. So when you come into the room, like for example, when Jason comes into the room, or when Rich comes into the room, you don't forget them. Like you don't forget these guys. You remember them. And that's what we're trying to create. And the reason is because you guys are in alignment with your purposes and your authenticity. You guys live authentic. And so that's what we're really trying to teach guys to do. But that's like the full rundown of the course. When somebody comes into that, they'll get into the Valorman Pioneer membership. So they'll start out as a pioneer. And really what we're trying to build is we're trying to have industry experts in every industry. So when guys come in, if we have a professional in style, we have a professional in confidence, we have a professional in relationships, Rich, we have a Whole Foods chef, master in travel, how to optimize your travel experience, Jason, right? So that's what we're trying to build as well, and kind of just make this like a one-stop shop for, everything all men need. Because and I feel like that's a problem with a lot of entrepreneurs today is they try and be solopreneurs. They try and keep themselves, and they actually quench their impact by trying to do everything on their own. And I'm like, no, man, like Jason knows stuff that I don't know. Yeah. Rich knows stuff that I don't know. Let's bring these guys in, man. Like, let's create something great. And that's really what we're trying to do.
It's scary for those guys too, a lot of entrepreneurs, because if they don't want to be known to fail, right? Let's call it for what it is a lot of time, especially with social media and things. They're like, all of a sudden they change their identity. I'm in this business now. I'm on crypto. And then they take a shit. I'm in stocks. They take a shit. So I think a lot of it is fear. And instead of just, I saw a thing and I was going to bring it up to you regarding your Valormen. And that is, if you look at everything, how people make you a victim almost on every level. You don't realize, like, if somebody does something to you, it bothers you, you're almost a victim to that, right? This didn't go my way, I'm a victim. Like, it's I think a lot of times we only see ourselves as being a victim, or looking at people saying, quit being a victim in this circumstance. But if you look at life, a lot of times when you start lining yourself up correctly, if you do not allow yourself to become a victim of anything, I don't care if it's traffic, I don't care if it's your relationship, your job, if these things are continuously hurting you or bothering you, you basically become a victim of that. You don't even realize it mentally.
That's
kind of pretty crazy.
That is gold. I mean, absolute gold. And in fact, what you're talking about right now is one of the belief sets that we talk about in week 3. And we take a lot of those principles from a lot of monks. And I know Jason would love this. And I actually got this from the book Zen and the Art of Happiness. Whoever's listening, highly recommend it. It's like 110 pages. It's just an absolute must. It's got to be a staple in terms of books that you read. But one of the things that they talk about, one of the things I put in the alignment blueprint, is the ability to be free in the midst of circumstance.
Gotcha.
See, and that's just it. It's like people are always reactive to circumstance.
Exactly.
They let circumstances control their emotions, control their life. And the goal isn't to be free from circumstance, because that's impossible. You'll never be able to be free from it.
Right.
But if you can get to the place where you're free in the midst of anything, that's really where you want to get. So, I mean, that's a good point. What's your thoughts on that, Jason? Because I know you study some of that stuff as well on the Buddhist side.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's, you can be a monk, and that's good for a time, and it's, developing the Jedi skills. But then,
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Then and there's nothing wrong with staying there for your whole life, because your next life, it'll carry over, but if you really want to master it, if you want to go to the next level, you put yourself into the fire. And that is where you have to deal with the poisons of like lust and hatred and all types of, disturbing situations, and not be pulled into it, not, stay centered in that.
Yeah, totally.
And I want to also, give another testimonial to Tristan, and why this is unique, why what he does is so unique. And you can't really imitate this, because I've worked with a lot of, I read every self-help book after I was being a monk. Like, I read all that stuff and trying to like integrate with people. And, you know, I've worked with coaches, but what he calls a courage conversation, you know, I think this is something that, you know, like, cause when that was our first conversation, I was like, you know, very red pilled and just like, you know, like, so there's two ways to look at things like, oh, I'm going to be, you know, I'm going to see the bright side of everything. And then the red pill is like, I'm going to see almost like what's wrong with things. And what I think what Tristan teaches, that's very unique and effective. And I know now that I know this, I see other people and I'm like, oh my God, because I'm starting to go past it. But, you know, if someone's doing something you don't like, we have a tendency to just get angry at it. Or we have a tendency to just be like, all right, I guess just become a victim. I guess there's nothing I can do about it. And I see that all day long now. Some people are fighters and some people are flighters, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But Tristan has a way of showing how with you know, if you just carefully, diplomatically, but yet assertively say what needs to be said. And again, he has a whole outline for how to do this.
Yeah.
It's amazing how simple the results you get. And the person you're talking to is no longer like this evil person or this annoying person. Like they just need to be told certain things in the right way that doesn't trigger them. And it just diffuses the situation. And so far, like I've tried it with about 3 or 4 people and expecting the worst. Like one situation, I'm like, I was just going to walk away from this person. I'm like, you know, they continually they don't have this integrity. So there's nothing I could do, or I blow up on them. And that's really what I've done my whole life. And then I realized there's a way to just confront them on this, but not when I'm angry and not just basically, you know, in short, expressing where I'm coming from. Again, I'm not going to give his whole protocol. But the point is that, it's amazing the results, because not only did that issue get resolved and it actually didn't come back, but then the friendship got even stronger.
Yes.
So that is something that all these, like most of these like psychologists and gurus, you know, they'll just be like, well, this person's not working for you. If they don't respect your integrity, just get rid of them. That's really the advice most people have. And then you go to like other side of things like the churches and they're like, oh, forgive this people and just, you know, but there's a middle in the Buddhist teaching is called the middle way. And that's what I feel like these conversations are. They're the middle way between abandoning a relationship or, you know, like being really aggressive in the relationship. And you can, and now that I know this, it's like, I can't wait for more of these situations to practice them, because, you know, again, if it doesn't work, like you're going to ask for a raise. You could be like, oh, I never get the raise. They don't acknowledge me. You could be on that side, you know, or you could just ask, be very clear what you want. And it's not needy. This is something that I think a lot of men especially think, that if you say what you want and need, it's needy, and it's really not. It's really interesting how that's something that I've been learning too. And you say what you need to a woman, to a parent, whatever. And then it's the ball's in their court. They could either, you know, say, no, I won't respect your boundaries. I won't respect your needs, or they can comply. And either way, you get the answer you want. You know, right. But it's not like, but you know, it's instead of just running away, you're giving, and again, I'm surprised how effective this is. And it's not about like, you think these people have such bad intention. That's the red pill in me. Like, you know, you think there's such and there is malicious people out there, but most of the time, I think with people, they have bad habits, they have things they're unaware of, it's subconscious. And then when you bring it to light in the right way, they're like, oh yeah, thank you. I know I need to work on this. And it's like, wow.
Yeah, Jason, you know, that's really good. A lot of the stuff that you just brought up there. And there's a couple ways that you can look at this. And majority of men have completely blocked off their feminine energy. That's one way to look at it. You know, they grew up thinking that, you know, emotions and expressing how they feel about things is weak. And that's actually a toxic belief. And actually, what's kind of insidious about that belief set, this is how I used to be, this is how honestly majority of men are, unfortunately, but what's insidious about that is when you cut that part off, you actually lessen your ability to lead. You lower your ability to be confident and know what you really want. And how I put it is we teach how to live from the heart. Okay. Now, I'm not saying, be lovey-dovey and just let's embrace each other and shit like that. That can be an expression of love, but love is actually the most powerful force on the planet. Point blank, period. Unconditional love. Okay. So we teach you how to step into that and how to integrate your heart and your mind. And the importance of living from the heart. And really and truly, that's going to get me on a tangent for another 5 to 10 minutes there. But I'll just end with this. Another way that you can look at this, and we've talked about this, Jason, on the Harrison, and this is another thing that we do, is it's balancing your assertiveness and your helpfulness. So there's something called a paradox graph on the Harrison. What it does is it has two traits interlinked together, and then it tells you where you're balanced and imbalanced, basically. And majority of men are either off the charts on assertiveness, or they're extremely low in assertiveness, and they're people pleasers and they're self-sacrificing. They have to make sure everything is, good around them, so they don't ruin the harmony in the relationship. That was how I was. I needed to raise my assertiveness. Or on the other side, you're too dominant and controlling, and you never really give a shit about anybody else's needs. That can be the red pill belief system as well, where you cut off those emotions and you become blunt and you think everything, everybody's out to get you type of thing. So lot to say about that there, but yeah, I mean, all good things, man. And I'm glad that, you're seeing that positive impact in your life, because yeah, it's really just communicating from your values, how to communicate what you value and how to set boundaries and have that healthy communication. Nobody teaches us how to do that shit. And men are honestly terrible at it. They don't know how to do it. And that's part of what we teach.
And that brings me to, something I want to share, if in closing.
Yeah.
About that, because you asked about what I've been up to, and, more like a vision I have. I feel like I've been working hard to build something, because we have the COVID, we have all these things, and I've just seen this trend of becoming antisocial, and they're like, oh, you don't need to go see your friends and go to the cafe. You can just, you got Zoom. Remember, right when COVID happened, they had the lockdowns, everyone just went to Zoom. It was like perfectly set up right there, right? How convenient, but then I remember just being in like places like Cairo, Egypt, or the middle of nowhere in South America or India, and what do people do? They get together at the cafe and they just drink coffee all day, or like there's just like this social activity that, I didn't appreciate it so much when I was younger, because I'm old enough to remember before this whole nonsense. But so I was just like so excited about the internet and then social media. I'm like, this is so cool. I could text like 7 people at the same time, and then and now I'm realizing like this sucks, and
Yeah.
So and then this whole idea like of being an entrepreneur, and like you could just be by yourself on a beach and working with people. You could have, and I like that. There's a component, like everyone's trying to be an entrepreneur now, right? And I like that, but I want to balance it with see, to me, it's like Tristan and I are going to go out tonight. And I like that we have business dealings together. We're entrepreneurs like you and I together, but to me, that the purpose of that is an opportunity for us to actually spend more time together and have fun.
Sure.
So even though we're not there yet, my vision, my wish is that all of us, like him with his Valormen, we get to do events in other countries or other cities or even here in Orlando. And it's an opportunity for us not just to, make money and have a purpose. Oh, his internet went out. Okay. To fulfill our purpose and make money and build our business, blah, blah, blah. But then in the meantime, we're hanging out.
Yeah.
It's giving us an opportunity to actually be together. And then so let's say we do an event, we get 10 guys to come, and we have this amazing event, and people are really having breakthroughs. We're getting paid our value. But then afterwards, we get to celebrate, and we get to do things that are fun. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I want to, I feel like we're coming out of like this resurrection phase. Like it started before COVID. It was like, started with like, Facebook, and then it got worse and worse and worse, Instagram, and I just started, it's almost like the zombie apocalypse. And then COVID happened, and that was it. And then there's people who will never be comfortable around other people. They'll be wearing masks till for the rest of their life. They'll just never snap out of it. But for us, I see this as like a new like something is going to emerge where we do combine our business, where but we're not just doing business. The business is a vehicle for us to, like I said, just hang out again. Like let's just, and that's one thing I love about you is like you love to hang. You kept this hanging thing going, whereas most people, it's very easy to be like, well, I got Netflix, I can text everyone I need. What do I need to really go out for? But what I'm learning is the physical contact. Absolutely. Like your aura, being around another person's aura. It's just it fills me with life. Absolutely. Being around other people, not just women. So like I said, I'm just getting started. Tristan and I, we're going out. We're gonna have a good time, and that's what's cool about it too. Is him and I, you and I. I haven't met Eli in person. It's only been virtual, but he's gonna get over here soon, and it's like. We could talk business and help each other, but then there's a point where it's like, let's just have fun. Yeah. And that's something that's really cool. That we could turn it on and turn it off. And like, Tristan and I will have a session where he's mentoring me. Then we have a session where I'm mentoring him. And then we have times when we're just friends. Yeah. And that's what I hope to see. And I don't know, I don't know if the whole world's going to be like that, but that's the life I want to live. And that's the example I want to set. Like, oh, look at this guy. Not like, oh, look at him. He's on Instagram with like 10 women on a boat, Right. Or, or it's more like, oh, he's hanging out with a friend. Oh, I see him with this friend and they're in this country and, right. Oh, they're, and like they're healthy and they're having a good time and still do that balance. Like I don't need to have 10 million, $20 million. I'll take a few million, but then have really just good times and then the thing and have, and we're all different, like you said. So I'd love to have some property with some, grow some food on my land and have you guys over, food that I grew in the garden and I think that'd be awesome. And we all just kind of, have that. And I don't think it's the world. We're not set up with that. And they're still trying to give us another monkeypox and trying to give us all these reasons. Oh, you're going to get shot. That's the new thing. Is like every week it's a new fear. But at the end of the day, it's like, here we are talking, we're having good success stories. And the more fun we have, I think that's how you fight the system, so to speak. That's what's worth it for me. Yeah. Camaraderie. Is that the word? Camaraderie? It's nice. Camaraderie. Is that right? Yeah. You got that accent, yeah. I got the New York accent. You got the Chicago. Yeah, and I think a lot of us just get caught up with just family because friends kind of come and go. And I always say things are like in different chapters of your life, especially if you have a family or you have kids. It's kind of like you have I'm very fortunate. I hang out with so many of my old buddies from Chicago. I lived in California. I got a bunch of buddies there. I've traveled so much and I have massive family of a couple hundred people. I'm very fortunate, but I did realize even
when I was having when you're in a relationship, when you're first not married, you hang out with a bunch of people that aren't married, couples. And then one of us gets married, and then you start hanging out with married couples, and then you have a kid, and then you start hanging out with other couples that have kids, right? And then your kids kind of leave, and then you're kind of now with whoever you're with. A lot of times you could be still married or divorced. Now you're hanging out with maybe other people that are either their kids, you're an empty nester, or you don't have a lot of friends, like all these different chapters. But I believe in hanging out with all different age demographics. Obviously, Tristan's in his 20s. You're in your 30s.
40s. Yeah.
You're in your 40s. You look so young. And I was having cigars. I don't know if you know, I was having cigars. Luke and Adam showed up, and another buddy of theirs. We were having cigars, and I'm thinking, I'm sitting here when we were drinking and smoking, and Adam's only 20, and he got carded. We were laughing, and he got right through. I'm like, I'm hanging out with 20-year-olds too. I mean,
that's what we need. That's what we need. We need to get rid of these, generational barriers. This is just, that's what 20-year-olds need. They need older guys,
Yeah, they have. I used to love that when I was younger, and I love hanging out with men that are like, especially if they're immigrants or they're Italian or they're older. I even went to Italy with my uncles that are in their 70s and 80s, and even heading into their 90s. I love the old timers. I love the youth. My 50-year-old buddies are getting a little hard because they're kind of getting lazier. They want to golf or just smoke cigars, which I like the cigar aspect, but a lot of them aren't doing much. They kind of don't want to go to the mall. They want to just do dinner, golf, or sit at home. I'm like, you guys aren't my thing anymore too, I love meeting up with them, but as far as I love to work out, I love to be active like you guys. So, all righty. Well, tell them how to get a hold of you got the whole new thing going on here.
I still got to work on my marketing. It's underway, but, so basically, what I'm doing right now, and I feel it's like really my purpose, is to get people, because for me, like I drive 4 hours. Like most people are tired, like they want to have a beer. Like I want to just get in the kitchen. That's going to relax me, especially if I put on a podcast or something. I'm just listening, and so I want people to love to be in the kitchen, because think about our relationship with the food. It's just such an important thing. We eat every day, and
it's our life.
And you could make what you love to eat. You can make it healthy. You can make it clean, and of course you could save a lot of money from doing that. So, but I noticed a lot of people, they're like, oh, I can't cook, and that's it. So and then you see these recipe books that are very complicated. You buy the book, or you go online and you do one recipe, and you're like, all right, I feel accomplished, and you don't pick it up for another 6 months or so. And or you take a course and it's very complicated. So I made a course that really gets to the foundational cooking skills. It's like, instead of giving you recipes and giving you like a book, I'm giving you like the ABCs, like the very basics. When you learn the ABCs, you could put it together into infinite different combinations. I'm teaching you really foundational skills, but they're so simple. Most of the things are 2 ingredients, but when you put it together, like I gave a presentation yesterday, like everyone's mouth was watering, because it's like, it's 2 ingredients, but then you make a whole bunch of different things. And when you put all those 2 ingredient things together in different combinations with the different sauces, and, and everything is backed by science. I provide all the science. What was I going to say? The other thing I really think is important is, instead of like, okay, I'm going to make a dish for myself or me and my girlfriend, or like I teach people how to make in bulk, prepping. So I kind of say, if you get good at this, you can prep 2 hours a week. So 2 hours, you're roasting the potatoes in the oven, you're cooking beans in the Instant Pot, you're making your sauerkraut. Again, I teach all of these skills little by little, but after 30 days, after 4 sessions, you'd be amazed all the stuff you can do. And if you get good at it, again, you work a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. On Sunday, you just, all right, I got to set aside 2 hours. And I have all these lessons I learned from Jason, and I'm very supportive. I want people to practice, and then, hey, I forgot how to do this. I'll get back to people pretty quickly, like, and then you just make all this stuff, and then the whole week you're like, oh, I got this beans, I can make a salad, I can make tortillas, I can do all these different things.
Sure.
And it's so that's been my mission, and people are loving it. And it's a little, again, it's like everything I do, it's like I'm a pioneer, so it's like it's hard for me to, not hard, but I'm just trying to get good at explaining how this works. So thanks for giving the opportunity. And I'm going to marketing team. Oh, look who's back. I'm going to work with a marketing team, and maybe Tristan, maybe someone else. And it's going to be, so I'll have it really nicely put out. But for now, you can find me on Instagram at Optimized Being. You can email me at jason.demchok@gmail.com. You can put my link in there, my email. Just email me. Tell me you heard me on Rich's show, and I'll explain my program and everything. It's real simple. And there's Tristan again.
Sorry about that, guys. My internet just shot out mid-interview.
No, it's all good. That happens.
I was going to wait it out, but Jason, he had some stuff he wanted to express, so we just let him roll with it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I want you to go back and listen, man. I shared some really deep stuff, man.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I'd love to.
Tristan, I was going on the computer, getting everything ready so I could tell everything about you, how to spell your name, where websites, TikTok.
Oh, no.
Well, I was like, oh, thank God you came back to tell him yourself. I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to tell him how to get a hold of this guy. I'm like, LinkedIn, Facebook, you got to go TikTok. I was thinking, oh, thank God you're back. Well, what do you want to wrap up with, Tristan?
Yeah, honestly, easy access to just find all of my links. I just put all my links on direct.me/Valorman. And then there's all of my links. Like you can find my podcasts on the Apple side, on Spotify, TikTok, Instagram. You want to get into the Alignment Blueprint course, you can click that, email me. So direct.me, so that's direct.me/Valorman. That's VALORMEN. Boom. All the links are there.
Nice. Tell people how to even spell your name, because it is kind of unique.
Yeah. So it's Tristan, TRISTAN, and then Stahl, STAHL. So Tristan Stahl. And it's funny that have you heard of Legends of the Fall, Rich?
Yeah. What is you're talking the movie or what am I? Yeah.
Yeah. The famous Brad Pitt movie.
Yeah.
His name was Tristan in that movie. That's where my parents named me from.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was with, let's say, Robert Redford. I think maybe the first film he ever directed. I may be off there, but that was his production, if I'm not mistaken. There's a lot of people in that film. But yeah. It was a big breakout film, actually, I would say, for Brad Pitt. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Jason, did you guys talk about what we're going to be doing tonight?
I did. That's what I want you to hear.
Nice. Cool, man. Yeah, it's going to be fun. We actually got access to our corporate workspace all night at Expansive, which is a lot of fun.
You sure you want to say that?
A lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, you have to have a card to get in. You have to have a card to get in anyway. So, but yeah, so what's cool about that though is we can walk out on a little balcony, and then they just opened a new spot in downtown Orlando called the Bellhop, and it's kind of like a vintage style. It's almost like how can I explain this?
Rich, you should just come on.
I'll see. I told him my godmother's flying in from Chicago. I'm not sure regarding that.
I'm joking.
She's older, and a lot of times when people say,
"Bring her
in, we'll do this."
Yeah, bring her, right?
She's hip too. She's a screenwriter actually, but she it'll be fun. You know how a lot of people land and they talk all that shit, and then they land and get their luggage or get their rental car, get in their Lyft or Uber, go to the hotel, and it's like, I think I'm just gonna go downstairs and grab something to eat. So. I promise you, if she doesn't hit me up, I'll let you know.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Bring Rhea. We could even go to that kava place first that place I took you guys to, and then we can have a drink there.
That was hilarious.
Oh yeah, I have to check that spot out.
Yeah.
So
got
what is that like again?
Well, like I said, there's two spots. One of them is in Winter Park. That's like the high-end place. We got to go there one day too. But then there's a place right up Orange, like a 5-minute walk from you. And it's like, this is like a speakeasy, like literally a hole in the wall. Like you go in there and there's like a storefront with all these like neon lights, and they're selling the kratom and stuff. And then there's like literally like a hole in the wall, and you you go in the back, and there's like this little like dungeonous cave, and there it's just like a chill bar with a bunch of hippies.
That is awesome, man. We definitely got to check that out.
Like you would never know it was there. The first time I went there, I'm like, where the hell is everybody? And then
I'm in that adventure phase of my life right now. I want to explore everything.
Nice.
I'm down.
Yeah, it's good. That stuff didn't like my stomach. I had 2 of them, and then I was like, nothing happened. Rhea was buzzed.
Okay. The kratom.
That's why, Tristan, try it tonight without any alcohol. I'm gonna bring a measuring thing. We're gonna get you fucked up. No, I'm kidding. It doesn't get you fucked up.
Get it, buddy.
It's crazy.
All right, we gotta do more of these, guys. We gotta do different
fun
stuff. We could do different, different subjects or whatever. Because this is
Totally.
I haven't been doing a lot of podcasts. I only do my coupon, queen, pin, and the wingman. So I don't know if you even know that, Tristan. On my YouTube channel, I kind of took a break from doing my own podcast, and I'm her wingman on her podcast. And we shoot it on video. Yeah, we shoot it on video as well. She's got a really good following. And we kind of try to, help people live an incredible life affordably, how to save money when traveling, because I've traveled everywhere. It's like, not him. He's international. I would say I'm more North America. But, just trying to help people with different things on how to save money with her crowd and relationships. She likes my approach on a lot of that stuff. So, but I'll just start. We can just start doing our thing. We can start.
I was going to say, I want to come back and talk about. I want to tell you some of my crazy travel stories.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, we could just do shorties too if you want. Like it could be, only 20 minutes a clip. But we do a couple. Like that's what I do with her. I do 3 30-minute ones. And we hit a different subject matter each time. And I post one every week or 3 in 1 week, whatever I decide. But they're fun. We meet up once every month and we do them. But we can even do more if you want. We could do our own series. Jason's buddy Tal, I was doing a football show with, Rich and Tal talk football. So we were doing football, our own talk show with mainly football. So that was a blast for a while. But I told him, your lazy ass got to take this on. I'm too busy. And he's like, I don't have time. Everyone wants to talk. No one wants to edit. No one wants to upload. No one wants to write all the subject info, add all the share it.
The writing. Yeah, I'll help out. Yeah, we should do some shit in person too. We should get together.
That'd be awesome. I think we should do more in person. It'd be a blast. Yeah. Like what I used to do with
Robert. Could we go to Robert's place and do one?
We could. It only needs 2 mics. And it's kind of
right. Like we could sit close to each other.
We could. He's been really busy with real estate, so I haven't seen a lot of him lately. We were supposed to meet for cigars the other day with everybody else, and I didn't see him. So I don't know. He's just really busy lately, and I don't know if he's still interested in it. So you know how that goes. A lot of people, they fall in and out a little bit, which is understandable. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, totally. I'm actually trying to get an editing team right now as well for all of the content. Because man, it's not hard work. No. Well, if you want to do it really good, then it's you got to have an expert.
Well, that's it. That's what I'm saying. We got our own stuff, but we got to help each other, like build out teams of sales teams and editing teams. Because I'm tired of doing all this shit myself too. It's just you're absolutely right.
Absolutely, my friend. All right, we're gonna wrap it up there.
Great seeing you guys.
A bald guy in 2 hats. I should have brought a hat. Look at this, guys. There's a bunch of hats.
I noticed. Yeah, you gotta.
I'm surprised you don't.
That's one of Rhea's sections.
You gotta clean this shit up, man. You gotta come up. Nice.
Put your hat on. It matches. It's blue. It don't match at all. It's just some fun stuff.
Can you imagine if that was like a type of fashion, like just like rocking like sports gear and shit, like
unbelievable. Well, when I went to Europe, they were wearing gym shoes. I don't know how many years ago, and I was always anti-gym shoe with dress clothes. And then you started to see it, and I'm like, because I used to goof around and do that in high school because we went through I went to a private high school and we're always in all dress clothes. And sometimes I was just sick of wearing dress shoes, especially if you throw gym shoes on. And I'm like, this don't look that bad if we can work it this way. And then eventually, you fast forward, 35 years, and now wearing different types of high-end gym shoes is almost the norm, especially like in Europe and, urban areas.
That is true. That is true.
Who knows? I kind of mix urban with formal sometimes. Jason, it's crazy with me. I'll be wearing certain like black kind of sweatpants and weird shit. And then with a dress shirt, with a turtleneck, or who knows? Nice.
Yeah. See, I kind of just do what looks good to me. I don't know like the name or the terms of the style, like, the names and all of that. I definitely want to learn that from you as well.
Yeah. We'll kick you in the ass.
I need the most help, but yeah.
The what do I call you? The what was the word? The
Amish.
Yeah, the Amish. But what's the other word too? The
Amish
hipster. The Amish hipster.
The Amish hipster. That's a good one.
The Amish hipster.
Yeah.
I definitely like that Johnny Depp style. I know we were talking about that before, where it's like, that kind of like piratey kind of vibe. Like, love that.
Yeah, yeah. I was sending you, obviously different artists that kind of go with that look. It's very similar. I know this is crazy. A lot of people, the French Quarter in New Orleans dresses like you a lot. You may not realize it to a certain degree that how many times I've been there, those kind of hats and the shirts you wear and open, and a lot of artists there. And don't be surprised if you go to Tennessee, because a lot of those rockabillys and then they're wearing, like similar to what you wear as well. I kind of look at different regions dressing in certain ways. And those two areas for the most, because you kind of look like a rock and roll star a little bit, the way you wear the hats and the way you wear your shirts, and you're wearing shirts that you don't even know where they're from. And then you kind of like that pirate look a little bit again. And that's that French, look a little bit vintage. You're kind of
it's funny. Like now that you describe that more, that is like exactly what I like. That type of style is what I like.
Yeah, you don't wear a lot of heavy boots because you're in Florida though too, so you're kind of limited. But if I threw you in a place like Tennessee or those places, you'd be shocked because you'd like a lot of them people, because a lot of them are mixed rock and country and whatever, redneck and urban. It's all these mixtures, and I think that's you. You're trying to learn your way. You're kind of like a smoothie, and you keep adding different ingredients and pulling them out to find the right flavor. But what your look is a constant testing. So one day you may be in this style hat, and the next one you're done with it. I think you're that kind of guy, and then you'll be in this style hat, and maybe you'll not be with a hat. And that's kind of like what I talk about with you. You never know what you're going to get with us.
Yep, exactly. And yeah, I mean, once I do some more traveling too, that'll definitely change the style a bit, because then I'll explore that other. We were actually talking about going to Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Yeah.
Checking the heart of the tango. I want to learn the tango, man.
Oh yeah, it's sexy.
I think it's badass. I love it.
You need to shop in. You should start shopping. There's one in Orlando, but it's very expensive. I could take you there. I don't know if it's worth it, but where you're going to fit it in, I like things. It's costume stores for like, vintage costumes. It's like people are like, a lot of clothes I wear, they're like, where the hell did you get this? But I'll go to like a movie set that sells used, costumes in Chicago. My cousin works in the film industry, or they'll have places you can rent stuff and then you can even buy it there. But you seem to like wearing things that nobody else likes to wear as well. So, that's the type of places you're going to find the type of unique look that you're looking for. Because even if you go to New Orleans, because I was looking for a pirate kind of shirt to go to one of the award shows, and I went to New Orleans to get it. The only thing is it's very expensive, but they have costume stores, not just regular stores, Bloomingdale's, even Goodwill, or vintage stores. A lot of times that sell those things, they don't have the costumes, right? Like but people don't even know their costumes. They just think like, holy shit, where'd you find this amazing outfit? I'm like, like it's off a movie set. Even if you rented it, you know what I mean? You can rent that shit in LA all day and wear it to an event, and you'll blow everyone's mind, and then you just return it.
That's a good point.
There's a lot of tricks we could teach you. All righty. That's it, guys. We're going to wrap it up.
All right. Sounds good. It was a pleasure.
That was great night. See you guys later.
All right.